Hi guys, you would think if something was a success, people talking about it wouldn't be described as harping on. Well, that's exactly what Ian Botham, who is a member of the House of Lords, explicitly because he's a Brexiteer, had to say. He was speaking to the Today programme where he was challenged on how great a deal the UK-Australian Free Trade Agreement was. Some weeks ago it was trashed by the former Environment Secretary George Eustice, but for Botham, Brexit has been a success. Just don't harp on about it. Have a listen.
What did you make of what George Eustice, who's a former Environment Secretary, said when he said the trade deal with Australia wasn't a very good deal for the UK?
I was surprised when he said that, but he didn't say it when he was in the cabinet, did he? I wonder why. Never mind.
Do you think politicians tend to have looser lips when they leave cabinet responsibility?
I just don't understand that, because from what I've seen, and I'm actually out there doing it, done 4 trips now, and I have to tell you, it's been a success. So I thought it was a very strange thing to come out with. To be quite frank, unnecessary, because I don't think it's factually right.
And in terms of trade, which you're now involved in, and indeed everything else, what's your feeling about whether or not you got the Brexit that you voted for?
Well, I asked the fishermen. I think their quotas have just gone up drastically.
Okay, before we continue, he's mentioned 2 things here. He's mentioned the Australian trade deal, which he says was a success. A success? Ask British farmers if it's a success. And then he was asked about fishing, and he says, well, look, the quota has increased. The European quota has increased as well. It has actually increased more. How is that a success? And the problem, of course, is not about the quota. The problem is exporting the fish. British fishermen can't actually export a lot of the fish that they catch. That's the problem. It's not the quota, it's the exportation.
There's no point in harping on about it. The public voted, it's in place now, and it'll get stronger.
The other thing people often talk about in reference to how Brexit has created opportunities for Britain is the vaccine around COVID, where people say the vaccine was accelerated. But the critics of Brexit, and there are many, and it still seems to be a big discussion point in some of our politics, so I hear what you're saying about the need to get on with it. The critics say, well, if you look at what's happened so far, it's been an economic hit, and there's a chance that it will continue to be. I mean, based on what you know now, do you still feel it was the right decision for this country?
Absolutely, 100%. And I think that those people need to just stop and take a deep breath. We had COVID, which I think England have handled themselves pretty well in that. Okay, there's been some blips and there's been some troubles, but a lot of that will come down to the fact that we furloughed people for so many years, 2 years, and I think the problem is getting people back to work now. But they'll come. It'll come, I'm sure. There are tough times, but I wouldn't say that the recession is just in England. I would say the recession's global.
Okay. Now, if he had said England once, I could have put it down as a mistake, but he said it twice. He doesn't actually see Britain as a country, he sees just England. He doesn't care about Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland. And of course he doesn't, because he's a Brexiteer. Brexiteers don't care about Scotland, they don't care about Northern Ireland. Wales I'm not so sure about. But the pandemic, the furloughs didn't last 2 years. It lasted about a year, maybe even less than a year. Or just over a year, but it wasn't 2 years. And what has furlough got to do with Brexit? Nothing. Oh, they weren't. So he said it's a success. Then he's saying, well, don't harp on about it. And then he's saying, well, we've also had the pandemic and that's why things aren't going so well. So which is it? Is it a success and everything's great? Or it's not a success, but it's nothing to do with Brexit? I don't know whether he knows himself. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.